All right, so here's my elderberry in bloom. Look how beautiful it is. Wow, look at that. It's like one huge flower. But it's a cluster of flowers, as you can see there. And oh my God, it smells wonderful. And this is what it looks like before the flowers open. They're just these white little beads. And then after that, they will eventually turn into hundreds upon hundreds, if not thousands of berries. You can see how many flowers or berries are going to be on these clusters. Now, there are several species of elderberry, so I'm not 100% sure which exact species this is. But some make larger berries where you can get more juice out of them. These are very small and are kind of stringent. But every single part of the elderberry is poisonous, even the seeds. The only part of the elderberry that is not poisonous is the juice of the berry itself. You can actually consume the juice, but do not eat the seeds, do not eat the leaves, do not eat the roots. Don't try to attempt to cook any part of this plant because it is toxic to your body. Now, will you die if you eat some of it? I don't know. I know that it will cause liver damage and kidney damage if you eat enough of it. So I would highly recommend you don't eat it. So I don't know how applicable the word poisonous as opposed to toxic would be. I am just telling you I wouldn't consume any single part of the plant from what I've read other than the juice from the berries. That's it. That's all you need to do. There's no reason why you should chew the seeds up or eat the leaves or try to cook. That's ridiculous. So I know there's some people that like to argue with me on that point, but if all the literature that I've read about elderberry, including red elderberry, which is considered poisonous all the way across the board or toxic all the way across the board, you can eat the red elderberry as well, but just the juice part. You're not supposed to eat the seeds or anything else. They're all toxic, every part of the plant. So I just wanted to show you the flowers and just talk a little bit about it and you know, just give you a great look at that. See those little white popcorn? Isn't that beautiful looking? That white popcorn. And here's a beautiful look at the flowers. Let me zoom you in so I can keep the light on it. So my zoom is just terrible on this camera. You would think for a $3,000 camera your zoom would be better, but no. You got to spend like 10 grand if you want a good camera that gets good zoom, and I don't have that kind of money, guys. But this is the best I can get. So, and as it sheds the flowers, the whole ground will become white with these little tiny flowers. It's just totally beautiful looking. You know, there's the umbel. Like that. Isn't that a beautiful umbel? Here's a look at the leaves too. But this is, I just wanted to show you the flower of the elderberry, what it looks like before the berries. I'll give you one more look at the end of the year, what it looks like once it gets berries. But the birds go crazy for these things. They start picking them like crazy. Here's an umbel before it even gets the little white popcorn things like that. The little white balls. This is it before the white balls. This is a very young umbel. Right? And that's it. So even if you didn't want to grow the elderberry for the juice per se, you could grow it just for the flowers, which brings in a lot of pollinating insects, as well as the birds love to eat it. And just something awesome to grow. If you got room on your property, definitely grow it. But just remember, it is a poisonous plant. And if you have children, maybe think twice about it, okay? Because children tend to want to chew on leaves and things like that. This is probably one you wouldn't want around your children, okay? So that is the elderberry flower. See you on the next one. So it looks like my elderberries are all pretty much coming into season, and I should do an elderberry harvest and make elderberry wine, but I made juice one year out of these elderberries. I really didn't care for it too much, to be honest with you, because it is kind of on the bitter side, and it has like a green oxalic acid taste to it that I really didn't care for. But it does have a little sweetness in the berries. But from what I know on elderberries, there are dozens of varieties of elderberries, and some elderberries are more sugar sweet type elderberries, and they make a better wine. And some are just simply wild elderberries, like a wild variety, and that's pretty much what you're looking at right here. And these are pretty much a wild elderberry. Nothing special about them. Yeah, you can extract juice from these, and yeah, you can eat them. But see, this is the problem when you order bushes online and you order bare root or anything like that. You don't know what you're getting. This is like something that would grow pretty much, you know, around a swamp or something like that. But if you want, I'll do a taste test on this and tell you a little bit about what it tastes like. And what I can tell you about the elderberry tree or bush or shrub, whatever you want to call it, it's a very poisonous plant. Actually, every single part of the tree is poisonous, including the berries themselves. Now, the only difference between people making juice from the berries and any other part of it and not getting poisoned is the fact that the berries are ripened, and that the juice and the ripened berry skin and the juice and a little bit of pulp around a seed is the only part when it's fully ripened that is not poisonous. Every other aspect of this tree is absolutely poisonous. So I don't recommend generally eating this. Do not chew the seeds. Do not eat unripened berries. Unripened berries, like what you see right here, and they're not fully ripened, they're kind of pink yet, don't eat those. This is a very poisonous plant, okay? I want to make sure I stress that. A lot of people think, oh, it's elderberry. I see people eating them all the time. And they start eating these things and they don't know enough about it, and you're going to end up landing in a hospital. Okay? You're going to wind up ending up in a hospital. So let's do a taste test on a couple of these, and I'll try to describe the flavor of this variety of elderberry. Again, there is a cultivated version of elderberry where the berries get much bigger and they're much sweeter, they're more plump, and they're not as bitter, and you can make a much better wine or juice out of them than this particular variety of elderberry. Again, this elderberry was purchased as a bare root from either eBay or Amazon or somewhere, one of those places, or out of those catalogs, and this is what I received. Now, yes, it is an elderberry. What type of elderberry exactly, what specific type it is, I don't know. It's one of the wild versions from what I can see and the research that I did on it. It's definitely not one of the commercial varieties of elderberry. And if you do plan on growing elderberry for juice and berries and stuff, I recommend you go to a nursery and buy one that's on display where they can specifically tell you what the cultivar is and show you, you know, it's growing in a pot, and maybe you can see what the berries look like, even taste one of the berries and go from there. But to buy them online and you don't know what you're getting, you're going to end up with a wild plant like this, and this one's not really going to give you what you're probably going to be looking for. All right, so let's pick a couple of these. Now, I just want to mention, when you're picking these, make sure you don't get any of the ones that are not ripened. They have to be 100% fully ripened. You see down here where they're all really black, they're falling off into my hand and everything? That's what you want. You don't want anything like that. For example, if you can see right there, it's kind of pink still. Don't want that, okay? Like over here, you see how they're like almost dark, but they're still pink, they're not black. No, you don't want that. They got to be black like this. Elderberries are kind of a pain in the neck to harvest because some are pink and you have to kind of go through all these berries in order to get them. I'm dropping them. You got to be careful, because if you don't do it right, you get these things will open up in your hands, and you'll get elderberry stain. These will stain your hands and they will stain your clothes, so make sure you're prepared to handle these things. Now, these look pretty good. Got one here. You see that one's, to me, I don't like the way that looks. That looks a little bit unripened, but you look at those are really black. That's what I want. So we dumped that one. We're going to taste test. All right, so we're going to, I'm dropping them as I'm trying to show you. We're going to throw these in my mouth. We're going to taste test it, and I'll try to describe the flavor for you. Once they're fully ripened, they're not that bitter. I will tell you that much. You could tell when you're eating an elderberry that's not fully ripened because it'll have a really bitter taste to it. Again, you don't want to eat these things if they're not fully ripened. Some people comment in my videos and they'll be like, no, I eat that all the time. Somebody said that about pokeweed. Yeah, I eat the pokeweed leaves, I eat the berries. There are people who don't know what they're talking about. Let me tell you something. I want to see you do a video of you eating the pokeweed and the pokeweed berries. I want to see a video of you actually consuming that. Don't go into my comments and telling people that, yeah, you can eat these berries, they're safe, you don't know what you're talking about, they're not poisonous. They're poisonous, and if they don't get you the first time, they're going to do damage to your liver and your kidneys down the road, and you will find out how poisonous and toxic those things are, and there's a reason why you're not supposed to eat them, period. I mean, you're going against the grain here, way against the grain. You could go against what I say, but when you're talking about pokeweed, no, you're completely wrong. So it's the same thing with the elderberries. You get a lot of people say, yeah, I eat the elderberries, I chew up the seeds all the time, man, there ain't nothing. I want to see you actually chewing the seed. I want to see you eat the berries and swallow all the seeds. Now, if you swallow the seed whole, it might not get you, but in general, you don't want to eat the seeds. Seeds are poisonous, the leaves are poisonous, the stem, the bark, the roots, the whole plant is poisonous. The only part of the elderberry that is not poisonous is the berry itself, the juice itself. So I'll pick a few more for you. Again, we're going to look at these as we pull them off. Okay, that's what they look like. I'm looking at them now, and they all look nice and black on here. This is perfect, actually, this is about how you want to harvest them. The problem is they're not all coming in at the same time. They're kind of coming in half the bush at a time, and there's a lot of filtering that needs to take place. Now, the unripened berries, in general, try to get you in some light here. The unripened berries, in general, don't squeeze as easy, and they won't press juice. So it's kind of easy that way to kind of just press them down lightly, and the juice comes right out. But if you really start mashing them, you're going to get even the juice from the unripened berries. And again, you don't want to eat anything from the unripened berry at all. It's very, very not a good idea. All right, so we are going to eat those right now. Okay. One or two seeds I may have accidentally swallowed. This is why it's very important for you to gather the berries and press the juice out, because you don't want to accidentally swallow the seeds. They're very small, and they're very easy to crunch up accidentally. So but the juice is not bad at all. When it's fully ripened, you don't really get that green, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a wild green plant taste. It's just an off taste. It tastes like something that you shouldn't be eating. But at the same time, you can taste a little bit of berry flavor and the sweetness to it, and that's nice. When it's fully ripened, that toxic flavor, that toxic undertone or whatever that is, isn't that prevalent. Hope this ain't all over my face. I can't say. It's not that prevalent. So you can eat these. I don't recommend really going into the bush or the wild and just like start munching on these things in a while, because if you're really hungry, you're going to end up macerating the seeds and you're going to end up swallowing it, and the seeds are toxic. I'm telling you, they're toxic. So like, some people are going to come and say, no, the seeds ain't toxic. They're toxic. You don't want to eat them. All right, seeds may not kill you at first, but eventually, if you eat enough of them, you're going to end up with liver and kidney damage, and probably other organ damage as well, along with whatever poisonous effects they have directly to you. So I don't recommend eating them. Now, I just spit all that out, because I just wanted you to know that you can't eat them, and the taste does have a somewhat usable taste in it. A lot of people like to consume the juice for the antioxidants in it because it's very high in antioxidants. It's very high in a lot of vitamins and stuff. It's really, really good for you. But you just want the juice. It's, again, if you're going to make wine out of these, press the juice out of them and get rid of all the mass. You don't even ferment your wine with the seeds or stems or any leaves in it. Just get all that out of there and just get the juice and make your wine with that. Now, I might have enough to produce like maybe a small little, tiny little bottle of wine. I'm talking small, because a lot of juice ain't, you know, even though it looks like it's loaded with berries on it. I'll try to zoom you in. See all those berries on there? All right, it looks like a lot. That's nothing when you're trying to make wine. Believe me, that might make maybe a half a beer bottle's worth of wine. I mean, there's not enough. Now I could mix that juice with grapes and make like a elderberry grape wine mix. I can do that too. And maybe I will, I don't know. But the thing with these berries is once they start coming into harvest like you see now, you really got to get in there and start pulling them down. Because if you don't, they kind of come in, the birds start eating on them, the insects eat on them, and they come and they go. They're not like grapes. They can sit on a vine for a while. You got to take care of them right away. I guess maybe I can harvest the juice from them and then put it in the fridge and store it until the grapes are ready. But the grapes ain't going to be ready for another maybe month. But in any case, that's, you know, I showed you can eat them, and I kind of described the flavor. It's really, there's a very, very slight berry taste. It's very slight. It's got more of that green oxalic acid taste. I don't know any other way to put it. Just doesn't, it tastes like a wild plant taste. It's not like a very desirable berry. It's not something, you know, like I say, there might be a commercial version you can grow, you can buy and grow, where you'll get a larger berry from it. So I'm still chewing seeds. Don't want to chew those seeds and swallow them. One or two you might get away with it, but I was told they're very, very, very toxic. You don't even want to swallow one seed. So that's why I don't recommend eating them and chewing them up. You just want to if you do eat them raw, you just want to get the juice out and spit the rest out right away. Or just make your wine with it. That's the safest bet, because you can really filter off anything, and you don't want to smash those seeds in your wine. You just want to press the juice out of them, and that's it. But I don't know what else to say. That's just a quick taste test for you, and quick look at the vine. You know, and you can see these clusters are absolutely gorgeous as far as the way it's, you know, the birds didn't really eat these clean this year. Usually they pick them clean every year. You know, they're bold like this. There's nothing on them. Like, some of them were picked, but man, these clusters are huge this year. And they actually taste pretty sweet. They're not really bitter or anything. They're not very bitter. They taste pretty good. So maybe I will do a harvest on those, and we'll cut all the tops off, and we'll pick them and go through them very carefully. I'm trying to wait for the last of the unripened ones to come in, because these are no good. You can't eat these like that. I'm telling you, don't eat them like that. See this whole bract? That's all pink. That's no good. They got to be black like this, you know. See here? See how black that is? See, this one's really ripe. They're falling off. See how they're falling off of my hands? That's what you want when they're coming off the plant like that. That's when they're at their full ripeness. These are gorgeous, actually. But again, they have that kind of wild taste. They have that wild taste to them. So, all right. That's just a quick look at my wild elderberry that grows. I'm going to trim this bush back too at the end of the year when it's finally done. I'm really going to trim it back. You see up there's still a green bunch that came up late. Where is it? Right there. See, it's still green. That's what I'm saying about this thing. You're going to have like ones that are fully ready and ones that ain't. And once you harvest them, you got to process them, you know. So you're going to end up with bracts like this one that's still green, and you can't really do anything with that. They're going to come in late, and that's no good. It's too much work to try to get juice out of these things just for a little shot glass worth of juice concentrate. That's because that's about all you're going to get out of all these berries. You get about a good solid thick syrupy type of shot glass. That's it. All the rest is pulp and matter. And so, all right, well, that's enough rambling. I guess I'll let you go, but just thought I'd show you the elderberry. If you decide to grow them, you know, make sure you go to a nursery and pick your elderberry tree that way. And that's my recommendation, because there's different varieties of elderberries, and certain ones are cultivated specifically for the juice, and you're going to be a lot sweeter, less wild flavor, and there'll be more of something that you can utilize. All right, so quick look at the elderberry. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.